What's described as a tidal wave of human misery flooding across our southern border. Look at the pictures. That says everything right there. Overwhelming refugee camps set up to handle this growing crisis, and anger boiling over now as the Obama administration clamps a wall of secrecy over the conditions at these intake camps. Welcome, everybody, to America's Newsroom, hour number 2. We're glad you're here. I'm Martha McCaul.
And I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services today inviting the news media to view a holding facility at Fort Sill in Oklahoma. No cameras, no questions, no interaction allowed, however. The same strict conditions imposed on members of Congress inspecting these facilities. Arizona Senator John McCain slamming the Commissioner of the U.S. Borders and Customs and Border Protection, demanding the rules be reversed without delay. Here's the senator on that.
I want it fixed, and I want it fixed immediately. Understand? If a member of Congress can't visit a facility in his own state, the people of Arizona elected me, and I'm not supposed to even carry a cell phone with me, you have overstepped your responsibilities and your authority, sir. And I want those instructions revoked as far as members of Congress are concerned, and I want it done today. You understand?
Can you blame him? Next guest went to McAllen, Texas last week to see the conditions on the ground for himself. He's Texas Congressman Michael McCaul, chairman of the Homeland Security Committee. Congressman, welcome. Good to have you here today.
Good morning, Martha.
Tell me what you saw, because you've been quoted as having said that you thought these were deplorable conditions, nothing you've seen anywhere in America.
Well, it's a refugee camp in the United States. I never thought I'd see that in this country. We saw a lot of little children, babies, children being quarantined off with scabies. Remember, there's a health element to all this. Very sad, tragic conditions as a human being to see something like this. On the other hand, about 80%, though, of these so-called children are about 16 to 17 years old, most male. That, from a security standpoint, greatly concerns me. More so than the little girls that I saw, in terms of what are they going to be doing in the United States of America with no education, can't speak English. I think that's the threat that I think a lot of people are concerned about.
Yes, I think you're right about that. And I want to get back to that security concern in just a moment. But, first from the humanitarian side, what do you think about how the president has expressed his views on this so far? Because it's very unclear what he actually wants to happen.
He's been very all across the board about deterrence. Look, these 3 little girls I saw were on a raft on the Rio Grande. The raft flipped over. They almost drowned. They were with their grandmother. They were in tears. The story that's not being told, Martha, is the dangerous journey they go through when they go through Mexico under the hands of the drug cartels and the drug traffickers who abuse and exploit them and rape them, and in some cases kill them before they even get to the United States of America. I think that's a story that needs to be told, because I think what we want to do is stop the flow to protect these kids from that journey. And the best way to do that is to send a message of deterrence that if you come, you cannot stay. We need to start sending these family units and these children back to their countries, so we send a signal that they can't stay here. And I know that sounds harsh in some circles, but there's no other way to stop it.
Well, you're making it sound as if the journey itself is one of the biggest threats that is presented to these people, and that you want to keep them safer by preventing them from undertaking it in the first place?
That's exactly right. We heard story after story of whether potential drownings, of exploitation, abuse, rapes. We have 12, 13-year-old girls who've been raped, showing up at these facilities. It's a pretty deplorable deal.
Congressman, obviously it had an impact on you, being there and speaking to these individuals and understanding more about their story. We had Rudy Giuliani on moments ago. He said, in his experience, you can never really understand a situation until you get down there and talk to the people. What do you think about the fact that the president doesn't want to go?
Well, again, as a human being, it impacts you. If not, you're just completely desensitized. I think the mayor's right. Why would the president of the United States come to my state and raise money and then not go down to see the crisis? I've worked on the border for a very long time. Even when I was a federal prosecutor, I've never seen a crisis like this. And yet we have the President of the United States coming in to raise money, and it has no desire to go down to see these children, to see the deplorable conditions that need to be addressed, or the crisis that needs to be resolved. In his response as well, I sent my underlings to go take care of that. Well, that's not adequate. That's not leadership. That's not leadership.
You know, we had a panel discussion moments ago. Monica Crowley said this. I've had a number of tweets coming in saying that some people believe that the president, that he's, you know, encouraging in some ways this situation, that it makes it, you know, more glaring in terms of immigration reform, and that it makes the GOP look bad. What do you think about that? Do you believe that?
Well, you know, initially he talked about changing this 2008 law, which when Mexicans cross, they are expeditiously removed. When other than Mexicans cross, like Central America, a different policy. All we want to do is make the policy the same with Mexicans and other than Mexicans. The president was going to propose that idea, and then for some reason, I think because he got hit by the left, retracted that policy, and now is throwing it on the Congress to resolve that problem. That is the deterrent angle. Yeah. If we don't have that deterrence, they're going to keep coming into the United States. And I can't stress that strongly enough. Not just to stop the flow, but to stop the abuse of these kids on their way up to the United States. And then finally,
really
border security needs to be addressed as well.
Yeah. Your point that the humanitarian way to handle this is not to allow them to take the journey is very well taken. And I want to have you back to talk about MS-13 as well, because we need to address the security issues that I know you're suggesting in here as well. So, Congressman, thank you so much. We'll see you next time, okay?
Thanks, Martha.